Well, I can't believe it's been a full year. So it was the beginning of May last year when my granddaughter persuaded, encouraged, twisted my arm to actually put a video on of my railway layout on YouTube. It's just flown. It really has flown past. And I've still not learned to try and keep a tidy workspace. What's even more surprising is that people have actually taken the time to watch my progress, give me feedback, share some great ideas, and really helped me as I've spent time up here trying to progress this layout. 3.5 years ago now since I started it. I think I've got a lot done, but as you can still see, there's so much to do. But it's having feedback from people out there that really helps me to just change my way of thinking. You know, you probably realise I am no expert when it comes to model railways. I'm a complete novice when it comes to understanding railways, how they work, signalling, train configurations. As you know, it's not prototypical, my layout. I just run trains that I like, no particular era. Steamers are my favourites, I've always said that, but I've had a right ball building this layout, and I know there's still so much more to do, but I couldn't do it without all the feedback, the support, the comments. You know, a year in, and 3,800 people have taken the time to subscribe, which is just bonkers. You know, it's comfort as well. When I'm up here in this room, I know there's people looking at my progress, giving me ideas, suggestions, improvements. So I am just so grateful to everybody. I think you can tell from the mishmash of trains that I've got running today. Got a couple of diesels, a 37 and a Deltic. I've got a Princess Royal class running. I've got a Duchess running. I've also got a Black 5 running. Can get quite noisy up here when you've got 5 lines running, as you can probably tell. You know, I've spent a lot of time up here. I'm quite fortunate now I'm retired. Other than having to do various jobs around the house and the garden, I do get to have the freedom to come up here quite a bit. But I'm finding some of the things I'm doing now can look a bit repetitive, and they can take time to do. And I've always tried just to put a video out every week, just to really show what I've been getting up to. But it's probably getting to the stage where there's not a lot of progress to show everybody in a week. So it may be now that I just start to put a video out every other week, just to show people what I've been up to. But it's nice for me to have something to look back on, to see how the layout looked, how I did a particular area, and if I can do it different or improve it. So that's really the main reason I did this. I'm not a particularly outgoing person. I don't belong to any clubs. I don't particularly visit a lot of shows. I think I've just had a derailment somewhere there. So yeah, so by doing this is a way for me just to reach out to people. I've got some guys and folks out there who every week take the time to comment and give me some feedback, you know, and it's so appreciative. It really does help me. You'll probably tell I'm not trying to make professional videos. That's not what this is about. I'm simply using my iPhone. I did treat myself to one of them gimbal, whatever you call them, but it seems to have a mind of its own and send your camera off everywhere. So it was just iPhone, just to really record what I've been up to, and as I say, have a record if there's things I want to do that I could maybe improve. So once again, just to say thank you to everybody. You won't believe how many ideas I've taken on board and used, and other things I've picked up from other YouTube channels as well. I've learnt so much, and I guess that's all part of the fun of this, so long may it continue. In terms of this past week, what I have been up to, I have started to do a bit of work on the goods yard, looking at some of the buildings I bought and trying to work out where the road and everything's going to be. So I've got a bit of progress to show you, just to see how far we've got, but not too much, to be fair, this week. Right, these are these warehouse fronts. They're on light self-adhesive paper. There's 4 fronts, all slightly different, and then there's just some like edging there. So I can mount these, I think, on probably just a thin piece, probably a 6mm piece of plywood. They do just cover the full height where those hills are, so it'll probably somewhere where you can see this tree. It'll probably go somewhere there. I think it'll then just create a natural break, so I can change the back scene to this side. I've just put 3 of these building sheets together just on a piece of that PVC board, 3mm thick. So they do just cover that skyline. So that might just allow me, you can see the joins, but I could even add some guttering down those 2 joins if I need to. But it means to the left now, just where this goods shed is, I can change that back scene and have it all industrial. So I think it just about works. I think that's roughly where I'm going to put those buildings. The goods shed there, and it's just where I put these to get a natural break for an industrial scene on the left hand side. So I've been searching around in my little box of goodies, and I've got some really old wagons that I had from my younger years, so I've just grabbed them out. They're a bit of a mess, the wheels are terrible, but I just thought I would see how easily, if all, the run across all this point work. I'm thinking these buildings will pretty much be here now, so it just means then a road coming along here and into there, the big area for the back of the goods shed. Just deciding where to put this. Now the only decent back scenes I've seen that are industrial, which are quite high, they're only coming metre lengths. So a metre length only comes to about there. So rather than me having to pay for 2 that'll join, I just wonder whether I bring them along this way a little bit. Don't know if that still looks alright with those so close to the goods shed, but it just saves me, like I say, having to buy 2 of these industrial back scenes. Unless I keep looking, you know, I might find some longer ones. But I'm going to start marking out the road now. and decide what I'm going to use to put down for a road surface. So there is a bit of lighting in those buildings. There is actually a light down in this room there, although it's very faint. It's the same bulbs as these as well, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but a little bit of effect anyway, if nothing else. While I'm just pondering the layout for the roads and everywhere on that goods yard area, I thought I'd just come over to my lovely tidy workbench and have a look at these farm buildings with a view to trying to grime them down a little bit. So I've just given them all a coat of black Humbrol wash. It has toned it down quite nicely, and we've got some nice grime marks looking on the roof. So I think a bit more weathering and such like. Start to see if I can then get some little shrubs and that growing through the roofs, all up the sides. I think I can make these look something fit for purpose on that area. As usual, we will need to paint the insides. Obviously these won't have lighting because they're derelict, but you don't want to be seeing that bright white interior. So my plan for this area, I haven't had a good sleep on it. I think where the road comes along here, I'm going to build this area up. I'm either going to use a bit of caulk just to lift it all up, or maybe some of this PVC board. I've not decided yet. So from this wall just to this line, following it down, all this area will be brought up level, and I will probably, this track in here, fill that as well, so it's a bit more of a hard standing. And then with these just being siding, I'm not going to build up. This will just be ballasted and all sorts of crap really. So it's just that area I'm going to lift slightly just to bring it level to the rails, so the road comes in that way. So as I say, I just need to decide. I'm thinking 2mm caulk might be slightly better. And it'd be easier to cut and shape down to somewhere probably around where this goods shed is. So I'll get all these marked. Remember where I've drilled the holes for the wires. Got to remember I need to put a light in there still. But again, usual scale dale, probably needs a bit of detailing. It's got brick effect there, which is good, but the roof's not right, so I'll probably paint that a grey concrete type colour, and maybe get some few other bits of interior detail in there. I can't really get a light in the little office. Seems to be a sealed unit. I could probably try and drill up through the bottom to push a little grain of wheat light in, but it's then positioning it, and if there's any light bleeding there, I'm not going to have a chance to be able to cover that up. So I'll probably just leave that, but get a ceiling lamp somewhere up here if I can disguise the wires. Right, so I've got the caulk down in the areas I want it. It's just weighted down with a couple of bits of wood just in some areas. As I say, that's the main area I wanted to raise just for the road. This in front, these sidings will just be normal ballast and a bit of cinders and ground covering down. I just wanted to quickly look at the size, the footprint for this factory. It's quite a nice little size actually, so I'm thinking somewhere there. The smaller one probably just set back maybe here, but it gives me quite a nice bit of space there to be able to do maybe some sort of yard scene. So now that I've got the rough idea of where the road's going to be, I just wanted to create a natural verge on this front edge just to raise it up a little bit. So I've just used some shavings off the insulation board that I use in other areas, stuck that down, covered it with some cheap filler, and now it's dried, I've just painted it. So I don't think it really shows out on here, but it is raised probably up to 10mm in some areas, just to create a natural edging across that road. and then that can be, it'll have some quite long growth on there, just to distinguish between the road and the rails. I'm just testing out a few ballast blends, just to see what it looks like. I do want it to be quite patchy across this area, some different shades. So I've seen that some people with varying degrees of success have been using chinchilla sand. And when you look at the price, I think £3.69 for a litre bag compared to some of the other stuff. Out for a bargain, I thought I'd give it a go. So it's far too pale out of the bag, so I've just been mixing some different bits up with touches of black weathering powder, just see if I can get a darker blend. So I ain't gone mad with it, I just thought I'd test a couple of lines to see what it's like, because I say I've seen varying degrees of success. Somewhere it cracks when you get the water PVA on, so we'll see. But if it does work, then that is a right bargain. So I've just been waiting for that ballast, well, chinchilla sand to dry, to see what it looks like. I've just started work on this small warehouse, so I've just got the glazing in and the windows. Once that's dried, I can then get a bit of lighting in, get the roof on, the roofing tiles, and just see exactly where it's going to go on the layout. In regards to this ballasting, the front two lines are this chinchilla sand mixed with a bit of weathering powder to darken it. That third line there and the one behind is my normal ballast, just coloured. Personally, I don't think I'm too struck on this chinchilla sand. It goes a bit pasty, not colour wise, as into a paste. If you can just see there, that was just some I wiped off and it's gone into just like a mushy paste, that. So maybe it's still not fully dry, maybe when it's dried it might look better, but I'm leaning towards just stop trying to be in a skinflint and going back to my usual ballast. So I guess that's progress for this week. What I'll continue to do now is ballast these points and double slips. I'll do that for the next few days. I think I'll use my normal ballast for that. I don't want to take any chances. The weather's looking good. Hopefully it's going to be pizza and barbecue weather this weekend, so I probably won't spend as much time up here. So until the next time.